Ever imagine trucks, like,
Yeah.
braking on their own to avoid accidents?
Or buses kneeling down to make boarding easier.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
exactly. The future is ZF Commercial Vehicle Control Systems India Ltd, ZFC Vindia for short, is building.
It's really incredible.
And today we're going to do a deep dive into their Q2 results, fiscal year 2025.
Looking forward to it.
We got a press release, an investor presentation.
Lots of numbers.
Yeah. And even, some of the questions you sent in.
Always good to hear from the listeners.
Exactly. And we'll cut through the jargon and, kind of highlight what's really important about understanding where this company's going, how their work could impact us all.
I think what's fascinating is they're a major player in India's commercial vehicle market,
Okay.
and it's a market that's like about to explode in growth.
Wow.
And, they're not just keeping up with global trends, they're adapting those technologies to fit India's specific needs. They call it frugal engineering.
Frugal engineering. Okay. I like
It's a
that.
brilliant strategy.
All right. So let's unpack this a little bit.
Yeah.
The press release boasts a 9.1% jump in total revenue compared to last year.
That's impressive.
That's impressive on its own. But get this, their profitability is also way up.
Wow.
EBITDA and PAT margins hitting 18.6 and 22.7% respectively.
Okay.
Now, I know those just sound like numbers,
Yeah.
but what they really tell us is that ZFC Vindia is creating and selling technologies that are in high demand.
That's exactly right. And this is all happening as the Indian commercial vehicle market is poised for like some serious growth. Just the light commercial vehicle segment, the LCV segment, is projected to hit 900,000 vehicles by 2030.
That's a lot.
Yeah. That's a huge opportunity, and ZFC Vindia, with this focus on cost-effective solutions, is in a prime position to grab a big chunk of that market share.
Okay, so here's where things get really interesting. ZFC Vindia isn't just sticking with the tried and true technologies, right?
Right.
Like ABS and air brakes, which are important. They're making waves in electric vehicles, advanced driver assistance systems, the ones that help prevent accidents, and even digital solutions for managing entire fleets of vehicles. They've already implemented electronic braking and stability control systems in over 3,500 electric buses,
That's a lot.
which not only makes them safer, but also helps them, use energy more efficiently.
And this is crucial because the electric vehicle market in India is expected to grow, like exponentially. By 2035, experts predict over half of all buses on Indian roads will be electric.
Wow.
ZFC Vindia is strategically aligned with this trend, offering cutting-edge solutions that are absolutely essential for electric commercial vehicles to really take off.
Okay, so they're not just talking about innovation, they're living it. They've actually built India's first ever electronic stability control test track, which is a testament to their commitment to safety and pushing boundaries. They're also coming up with some really clever solutions for trailers. For example, they have something called Trailer Pulse, which gives you real-time data on the health and performance of your trailer.
It's like having a fitness tracker, but for your trailer.
Exactly. It's pretty cool.
What's impressive is that ZFC Vindia isn't just making parts. They're providing a whole package of services, including a massive aftermarket network. Think about this. They have a touch point every 100 kilometers across India.
Wow.
That's incredible dedication to customer support.
Yeah.
It shows they're in it for the long haul, building relationships, ensuring their customers are taken care of.
And let's not forget their digital fleet solution, Scalar. It's already connecting over 188,000 vehicles, giving fleet managers insights into productivity, sustainability, safety. It's like having a super-powered dashboard for your entire fleet, all in real time.
All this raises an important question, though. Are they walking the walk when it comes to their own sustainability?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And the answer is a resounding yes. ZFC Vindia is aiming to be completely carbon neutral by 2027.
Wow.
Which is actually ahead of their global targets.
That's impressive.
And they're achieving this by switching to renewable energy and implementing other, eco-friendly initiatives. And they're not just focused on their own footprint.
Right.
They've partnered with regional transport organizations and state transport undertakings to train over 10,000 drivers, making a tangible difference in road safety across India.
It's encouraging to see a company that's not just chasing profits, but also focused on doing good. These Q2 results really paint a picture of a company on a powerful growth trajectory.
And there's more. Mr. P. Kanikapan has been reappointed as managing director, suggesting a continued focus on stable leadership and a clear vision for the future. Their plans to expand even further into the light commercial vehicle segment with a whole range of new products and services show just how ambitious they are. They're not content with just staying where they are. They're always looking for ways to grow and innovate.
Now let's dig into the specifics of their performance this quarter. We know revenue's up, but what's driving that growth?
So their investor presentation shows total revenue hit 950 crore, a 9.1% increase year over year. That's healthy growth,
It is.
especially considering like the current economic climate. But what's particularly interesting is that this growth isn't coming from just one place.
Right.
Their OEM business, meaning like product sales, saw a solid 9.7% increase.
Okay.
Exports also jumped by 5.6%,
Wow.
showing that they're making their mark on the global stage.
And let's not overlook their aftermarket business, which grew by 3.3%. This tells us a lot about their brand strength, the trust they've built with customers.
Yeah.
People aren't just buying the products. They're coming back for service and support.
So one of the questions that you sent in was about the key drivers behind this revenue growth. Were there any specific market segments that saw significant changes?
So the investor presentation highlights their strategic decision to enter the light-duty commercial vehicle segment.
Okay.
This is a market that's projected to grow like significantly in the coming years.
I see.
And ZFC Vindia is in an excellent position to benefit from that.
And they've already, laid out their plans to introduce a range of products and services tailored for this segment, including ABS, ESC, IBC, and even AD solutions. This is a smart move because it allows them to diversify their revenue streams and tap into a new market with huge potential.
Exactly. It shows they're not just riding the wave of the overall market growth. They're proactively seeking out new opportunities and positioning themselves for long-term success.
Another question you were curious about was ZFC Vindia's profitability in Q2. Were there any cost-saving measures or operational improvements that, contributed to those impressive results?
So remember those impressive margins we talked about earlier? Well, their EBITDA margin expanded to 18.6%, and the PAT margin reached a remarkable 22.7%. These figures tell us they've been very successful at managing costs and becoming more operationally efficient.
And this goes back to what we discussed earlier about their frugal engineering philosophy.
Right.
By designing advanced technologies that are also cost-effective, they can offer competitive pricing without compromising on quality or innovation. This is a key advantage in a market that's becoming increasingly price-sensitive.
But let's get real for a second, right? Every company faces challenges.
Of course.
What were some of the major hurdles ZFC Vindia faced in Q2, especially given the current market conditions? And how did they overcome them?
Well, I think the global supply chain
Yeah.
has been a major headache, I can imagine.
For businesses across various industries, the commercial vehicle sector is no exception. Disruptions and delays have become the norm, leading to higher costs and production bottlenecks.
So it's safe to say ZFC Vindia probably had to deal with their fair share of supply chain issues as well.
Yeah.
Shortages in raw materials, fluctuating prices, logistical nightmare.
Absolutely. But here's the thing. They managed to keep growing despite those challenges. That tells us they've been effective at finding solutions. They might have diversified their sourcing, gotten smarter about managing their inventory, or even worked more closely with their suppliers to make their supply chain more resilient.
Makes sense. Now, you specifically asked about the impact of the global supply chain on their operations. Did they experience any disruptions, or were there improvements in how they managed their supply chain?
We don't have specific details from the company on that front. However, we can look at industry trends and their overall performance to make some educated guesses.
Yeah. It's likely they experienced some level of disruption, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the global chip shortage, for instance, has impacted car manufacturers all over the world.
Right.
ZFC Vindia relies heavily on electronic components, so it's possible they experienced delays or had to adjust their production schedules.
That's a fair assumption. However, their solid financial results indicate they were able to adapt and overcome these hurdles. Perhaps they found alternative sources for critical components, adopted lean manufacturing principles to make the most of their resources, or became more agile in their approach to managing their supply chain.
Now let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Okay.
The shift towards electric and sustainable solutions. The commercial vehicle industry is undergoing a massive transformation, and ZFC Vindia is right at the forefront. How have they adapted to these changes?
So this is where ZFC Vindia really shines.
Okay.
They recognized the potential of electric mobility early on and invested heavily in developing solutions for this rapidly growing market.
Their electronic braking and stability control systems for electric buses are a perfect example. They've already implemented these systems in over 2,500 buses,
Wow.
which shows their commitment to electrifying the commercial vehicle sector.
Yeah.
And it's not just about, bringing new technology to market. It's about making it accessible.
You're absolutely right. Their focus on frugal engineering ensures these advanced technologies are within reach for a wider range of customers, which will help accelerate the adoption of electric vehicles in India.
This brings us to another question you had, research and development.
Mhm.
Did ZFC Vindia make any notable advancements in R&D or innovation during Q2?
Mm-hmm.
How are they positioning themselves for future growth in the automotive and commercial vehicle markets?
So their brand new ESC test track is a testament to their dedication to innovation. It's the first of its kind in India, and it allows them to rigorously test and refine their safety systems, pushing the boundaries of what's possible in the commercial vehicle sector.
And they're not stopping there.
Yeah.
They're also pushing the envelope in digital fleet solutions with their Scalar platform,
Yeah.
which is constantly evolving to offer even more sophisticated features and insights for fleet managers.
These investments in R&D are crucial for ZFC Vindia's long-term success. They're not just trying to catch up. They're aiming to be leaders in the technological transformation of the commercial vehicle industry, both in India and globally.
You also asked about regional variations in their performance, specifically in key markets like India, the Asia-Pacific region, or other emerging economies.
Yeah.
While we don't have specific regional breakdowns,
Right.
we can make some educated inferences based on their overall strategy and market presence.
So India, being their home turf, is undoubtedly their main focus. They have a strong advantage in this market, thanks to their extensive manufacturing facilities, well-established aftermarket network, and deep understanding of local customer needs.
But they're not limiting themselves to
Yeah.
India.
Well,
They're clearly expanding their presence in other regions, as evidenced by their growing export business. The Asia-Pacific region, with its booming economies and increasing demand for commercial vehicles, presents a huge opportunity for ZFC Vindia.
absolutely. They're strategically positioned to leverage their success in India to tap into other high-growth markets.
Now, another question you had was about their cost and margin strategy.
Okay.
How have they managed to maintain healthy margins in a highly competitive environment?
Well, their commitment to frugal engineering
Right.
is a cornerstone of their cost management strategy.
Okay.
By designing and developing cost-effective solutions, they can offer competitive pricing while still maintaining healthy margins.
They're likely also, focused on operational efficiency,
Right.
streamlining their manufacturing processes, and optimizing their supply chain to keep costs down.
Right.
Yeah.
And don't forget their robust aftermarket network.
Mm-hmm.
By providing comprehensive support and services throughout a vehicle's life cycle, they're generating recurring revenue and building customer loyalty, which further contributes to their profitability.
It's a smart, multi-pronged approach to cost and margin management.
So looking ahead to Q3 of fiscal year 2025, what's ZFC Vindia's outlook based on their Q2 performance? Are there any new initiatives or strategic plans in place to sustain or even accelerate their growth?
So the Q2 results lay a strong foundation for continued growth in Q3. There are strategic initiatives such as expanding into the light commercial vehicle segment and investing in R&D position them well to seize new market opportunities.
Yeah.
Their focus on electric mobility solutions is particularly timely as the EV market gains momentum both in India and around the world. However, external factors like, the global economic climate, potential supply chain disruptions,
Yeah.
and regulatory changes
Yeah.
could influence their performance,
That's always a factor.
of course.
But so far they've demonstrated resilience and adaptability in the face of challenges.
Speaking of regulatory changes, you also asked about whether any new regulations in India or globally impacted ZFC Vindia's operations or financial results this quarter. While the information we have doesn't mention specific regulatory changes, it's important to note that the commercial vehicle industry is subject to various regulations, particularly concerning safety and emissions.
In India, for example, the government is actively promoting the adoption of electric vehicles
Mm.
and has implemented stricter emission norms. ZFC India, with its focus on electric mobility and advanced safety systems, is well aligned with these regulatory trends.
And globally, there's a growing emphasis on vehicle safety and sustainability.
Mhm.
ZFC India's commitment to developing advanced driver assistance systems and reducing their environmental footprint positions them favorably in this evolving regulatory landscape.
Absolutely. They're not just reacting to regulations, they're anticipating them and proactively developing solutions that meet future requirements.
Okay, so let's talk about investor sentiment.
Okay.
How did the market react to ZFC India's Q2 results, and what key takeaways should investors glean from the latest financial report?
Well, we don't have specific market data, but we can make some educated guesses based on their strong financial performance and positive outlook for the future.
Their solid revenue growth, expanding margins, and strategic initiatives to capture emerging market opportunities likely signal a positive sentiment among investors.
The reappointment of Mr. P. Kanyapan as managing director also suggests stability and continuity in leadership, which tends to boost investor
You
confidence.
also asked specifically about ZF's focus on sustainability.
hmm
What progress did the company make in Q2 towards its environmental and sustainability goals?
So ZFC India is actively pursuing their sustainability goals.
Right.
They're aiming to achieve carbon neutrality by 2027.
Which is great.
Which is ahead of their global targets. They're
Yeah.
making significant progress towards this goal by transitioning to renewable energy sources, implementing energy efficient practices, and minimizing their overall environmental footprint.
They're also committed to, you know, responsible sourcing,
Mhm.
promoting diversity and inclusion within their workforce, and
Yeah.
supporting community initiatives.
Their sustainability efforts are not just about checking boxes. They're woven into their core business strategy.
Now, let's shift gears slightly and talk about leadership. What role did leadership play in navigating the challenges of Q2? And how does ZFC India plan to continue evolving its business strategy moving forward?
So Mr. P. Kanyapan's leadership has been instrumental in guiding ZFC India through a period of significant change and growth.
Right.
His reappointment as managing director indicates the company's confidence in his ability to lead them into the next chapter.
Their strategic focus on electric mobility, expansion into the light commercial vehicle segment, and commitment to frugal engineering are all testament to their visionary leadership.
They're adapting to market dynamics, anticipating future trends, and making bold investments to secure their position as a leader in the evolving commercial vehicle landscape.
Finally, let's zoom out and consider their long-term vision. How do the results from Q2 align with ZFC India's long-term goals, and what should stakeholders expect in terms of their strategic priorities in the coming years?
So the Q2 results clearly demonstrate that ZFC India is on the right track to achieve its long-term goals of sustainable growth, technological leadership, and market expansion. They're not just aiming for short-term gains, they're building a foundation for long-term success.
Their strategic priorities in the coming years will likely revolve around several key areas. They'll continue to strengthen their position in the Indian market,
hmm
expand their global footprint, and lead the charge towards electric and autonomous commercial vehicles.
They'll also continue to invest in R&D, nurture their aftermarket network, and foster a culture of innovation to stay ahead of the curve in a rapidly evolving industry.
Wow, that's quite a roadmap for the future. It sounds like ZFC India is a company with a clear vision
hmm
and the drive to achieve it.
Absolutely. They've got a winning formula
Yeah.
that combines technological innovation, smart business strategies, and a genuine commitment to sustainability.
Right.
But there's so much more to explore. We haven't even scratched the surface of some of their most innovative technologies and their impact on everyday life. Stay tuned for part two, where we'll dive deeper into those details.
Welcome back. We just covered, ZFC India's impressive growth, their strategic moves. Now let's get our hands dirty and explore the cool tech behind their success.
Yeah, their investor presentation showcases some seriously innovative technologies.
Mm-hmm.
One that jumps out is their electronically controlled air suspension ECA.
ECA. Okay.
You'll find it in both conventional and electric buses, especially those with ultra low floor entry.
Okay. But what does that actually do, like for the average person riding the bus?
So imagine this. The bus pulls up,
Okay.
and as the doors open, it it gently lowers itself to curb level.
Oh, wow.
That's ECAS in action. It makes getting on and off so much easier, especially for folks with mobility challenges, seniors, or parents with strollers.
Okay, so it's not just some fancy tech gimmick.
No.
It actually makes public transportation more accessible and comfortable.
Right.
I bet it's a hit with passengers.
Absolutely. There's a hidden benefit too. The presentation mentions that ECS reduces air consumption, which means better fuel economy for the bus operator, lower operating costs, plus the whole air suspension system becomes more reliable, leading to less downtime and maintenance.
It's a brilliant example of how ZFC India is taking complex tech and turning it into a practical solution that benefits everyone.
Right.
Speaking of practical solutions, let's talk safety. VFC India is making huge strides in advanced driver assistance systems, or ADAS.
Mm-hmm.
They're offering a whole suite of features, from lane departure warning to autonomous emergency braking, and even blind spot information systems.
These technologies are like having a co-pilot in the vehicle, constantly monitoring the surroundings and helping prevent accidents. Yeah. It's a huge step towards making roads safer for everyone, and it aligns perfectly with ZFC India's focus on social responsibility.
The presentation highlights that these ADAS solutions aren't just for trucks. They're being used in buses too.
Yes.
Which is critical, considering how many people rely on buses for transportation.
It really shows they're thinking about the bigger picture, and it's not just about reacting to accidents after they happen. They're investing in proactive solutions as well.
Yeah.
Remember those driver training programs they've implemented in partnership with regional transport organizations and state transport undertakings? They've already trained over 10,000 drivers.
Right. It's like they're saying, look, we're giving you the most advanced safety tech, but we also need, skilled and well-trained drivers to get the most out of it.
Exactly. It's a holistic approach to safety
I like that.
that addresses both the human and the technological aspects.
So now let's shift gears a bit and talk about their move into the light-duty commercial vehicle segment, or LCV.
Yeah.
It's a booming market, and ZFC India is clearly setting their sights on becoming a major player.
They seem to have a multi-pronged strategy for this segment. They're introducing a range of products specifically designed for LCVs, including hydraulic analog braking systems, electronic stability control, and even integrated brake control. These are technologies that were once only found in heavier vehicles,
Right.
and now ZFC India is making them available for smaller vehicles too.
It's a smart move because it allows them to tap into a whole new market
Yeah.
with a lot of potential. But they're not just copying and pasting their success, from the heavy vehicle segment. They're actually innovating specifically for the LCV market.
Right.
I noticed they're developing lightweight calipers and electric parking brakes.
Huh.
Those are key for improving fuel efficiency and reducing emissions in smaller vehicles, right?
Exactly. They understand that the needs of the LCV market are different, so they're adapting their technologies to meet those needs.
It's like they're saying we're not just a one-trick pony. We can innovate across different vehicle segments.
So no, you brought up Trailer Pulse earlier,
Yeah.
and it reminded me of another really cool innovation they have, Scalar. Their digital fleet orchestration solution. Think of it like mission control for an entire fleet of vehicles.
It gives you real-time insights into everything that's happening with your vehicles, right?
Yes.
Location performance, maintenance needs, even driver behavior. It's all there.
It's even more than that. Scalar provides data analytics, predictive maintenance alerts, and even driver behavior monitoring.
Right.
It empowers fleet operators to make smarter decisions, optimize their routes and operations, and improve safety across the board.
And it's not just some theoretical concept.
Yeah.
They're actually implementing it on a massive scale.
Right.
The investor presentation shows they've already connected over 188,000 vehicles through Scalar,
Wow.
and that number is only going to keep growing.
They're even partnering with original equipment manufacturers or OEMs to integrate Scalar directly into vehicles as they're being built. This shows just how much faith the industry has in ZFC Vindia's technology. It's not just a niche product, it's becoming a core part of the commercial vehicle ecosystem.
Now, let's talk about something that's increasingly important in every industry,
Yeah. Yeah.
not just automotive. Sustainability. ZFC Vindia is not just building, innovative tech. They're doing it with a focus on minimizing their environmental impact.
That commitment to sustainability is evident in their ambitious goal of achieving carbon neutrality by 2027.
Ahead of the curve.
Mhm. They're making significant progress by switching to renewable energy sources, implementing energy efficient practices in their facilities, and reducing waste throughout their operations.
They're even going a step further by working with their suppliers to encourage sustainable practices throughout their entire supply chain.
It's not just about looking good or following regulations. It's about genuinely trying to reduce their carbon footprint and contribute to a more sustainable future.
And what's really cool is how they're weaving sustainability into their technological advancements.
Right.
For example, their electric compressor solution
Mm-hmm.
is designed
Yeah.
specifically for electric and hybrid commercial vehicles.
Right.
That's a key enabler for wider adoption of cleaner transportation technologies.
And it's not just about electric vehicles. They're also focused on reducing emissions and conserving resources in their conventional products.
Mm.
They're developing lightweight components and improving fuel efficiency across their entire product line.
Their investor presentation highlights some of their sustainability achievements.
Hmm.
For example, their Oregatum plant received LED Gold certification,
Yeah.
and they won the CII National Energy Efficiency Award for innovation in energy efficiency.
Wow.
Those are some serious accolades.
Those awards are proof that they're walking the walk when it comes to sustainability. They're not just talking about it. They're implementing real, tangible solutions and setting an example for the entire industry. Plus, they've implemented a rainwater harvesting system at their Oregon plant,
Oh,
which
yeah.
which meets 70% of their freshwater needs.
That's impressive. It shows they're taking a holistic approach to sustainability, addressing both the environmental and the social aspects of their business.
They understand that sustainability isn't just about reducing emissions. It's about using resources responsibly, protecting the environment, and creating a positive impact on communities.
So before we move on to the final part of our deep dive,
Hmm.
let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned so far.
ZFC Vindia isn't just a company making components for vehicles. They're at the forefront of a technological revolution in transportation,
Yeah.
and they're doing it with a clear vision for a more sustainable and equitable future.
They're making a real difference in people's lives by making transportation safer, more efficient, and more accessible.
In the final part of our deep dive, we'll explore their impact on the Indian economy and tackle some of those big picture questions you sent in. Stay tuned.
We've talked about ZFC Vindia's incredible growth, their cool technologies, and how they're all about sustainability. But now, let's think bigger, like zoom out and see how they're impacting the Indian economy as a whole.
Yeah, ZFC Vindia isn't just a company, right? It's like an engine for economic growth and development in India. Their operations create jobs, support local businesses, and contribute to India's manufacturing, power.
So there's 6 manufacturing plants across India. Those employ over 3,300 people directly. And then their supply chain, that's got to be huge,
Oh, yeah.
generating tons of indirect jobs as well.
Plus, their whole Make in India focus, that aligns perfectly with what the government wants, boosting domestic manufacturing.
And it's not just about how many jobs, right? It's about good jobs, quality jobs. ZFC Vindia is investing in training and skill development, making sure their workforce is ready for the demands of advanced manufacturing, keeping up with those technological innovations.
Their commitment to upskilling drivers, remember those partnerships with those transport organizations, that has a ripple effect too, right?
Absolutely.
Safer, more skilled drivers mean fewer accidents, lower insurance costs, and just more efficient logistics overall.
Right, and that benefits everyone, businesses and people like you and me. And their impact goes beyond just commercial vehicles, right? What they're doing with electric vehicles, digital fleet management, that has the potential to change transportation and logistics across so many industries.
Oh yeah, leading to more productivity and way fewer emissions.
Okay, let's tackle some of those big questions you sent in. One that really stands out is about the global supply chain situation. How has that affected ZFC Vindia's operations this quarter?
Well, the global supply chain's been a roller coaster the last few
For
years,
sure.
especially hard on commercial vehicles. Semiconductor shortages, raw materials getting more expensive, logistical nightmares. It's been rough for manufacturers everywhere.
So ZFC Vindia must face some of those same struggles.
Definitely.
But their financials are so strong, it seems like they've been able to adapt.
Right, they've been resilient. Maybe they've diversified their sourcing, gotten better at managing inventory, or even just worked more closely with their suppliers to keep things running smoothly.
So basically, they've weathered the storm without sacrificing growth. I'm also curious about their R&D and innovation this quarter. Anything notable come out of ZF India?
Well, we talked about that new electronic stability control test track.
Yeah.
That's a huge investment in safety and innovation. But they're doing way more than that, constantly improving existing products, their electronic braking system, their electronically controlled air processing unit, making them more efficient, more reliable, the whole package.
So not just new ideas, but making the old ones even better.
Exactly. And they're exploring new frontiers, autonomous driving, connectivity, data analytics. Their Scalar platform is a great example, transforming how fleets are managed, making everything so much more efficient. They're not just following trends, they're creating them.
What's ZF India's outlook for the next quarter? What do you think?
Well, looking at their Q2 results and all those strategic moves they're making, I'd say Q3 looks really good. The Indian commercial vehicle market's going strong, and ZFC Vindia is in a prime spot to capitalize on that growth.
Yeah, expanding into the light commercial vehicle segment that focus on electric vehicles, all that R&D, that's got to contribute to some serious growth in the next few quarters.
For sure. Of course, there are always those external factors, the global economy, potential supply chain hiccups, regulations changing.
Yeah, always something.
But so far, they've been incredibly adaptable.
Okay, big picture question. How do these Q2 results fit into ZF India's long-term goals? What should stakeholders expect from them in the coming years?
I think these results really show that they're on the right track, hitting those long-term goals, sustainable growth, tech leadership, expanding their market. They're not just thinking short-term. They're building something that lasts.
So what are their priorities over the next few years?
Well, first, they'll double down on their dominance in India. More products, a bigger aftermarket network, stronger relationships with those OEMs. They're already a powerhouse in India, and that's only going to get stronger. Global expansion, taking those Make in India skills and exporting them to other booming markets. They've had success globally, and they're definitely looking for more.
Makes sense.
And of course, they'll keep investing big in R&D, staying ahead of the curve in electric vehicles, autonomous driving, all that. The transportation world's changing fast, and they want to be leading the way.
So they've got a plan.
They do. And sustainability is a big part of it, too, not just in their own operations, but working with their suppliers to make sure that whole chain is as green as possible. For them, sustainability isn't just a trend, it's built into everything they do.
And they're not forgetting about their people, investing in talent development, making sure their workforce has the skills they need for this rapidly changing tech landscape.
It's an ambitious plan, but they've got the vision, the resources, the drive to pull it off.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into ZFC Vindia, what does all this mean for you, our listener?
Well, it's not just about their success, right? Their innovations are making those big trucks and buses safer, more efficient, less harmful to the environment. They're creating jobs, helping communities thrive, and they're a vital part of India's economic engine.
They're proof that a company can be successful and do good in the world, blend technology with social responsibility.
It's been really fascinating exploring the world of ZFC Vindia.
We hope you've enjoyed this deep dive. Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep pushing those boundaries.